What's up, Tsla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down some key levels to watch for on Tesla, what's going on with Tesla sales in China as we're seeing a big increase compared to the previous week. Also, what's going on involving geopolitics. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so make sure you take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you sign up and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 25 in total, and deposit $5,000, you're guaranteed 60 free stocks. The offer ends on June 3rd. You'll also qualify for an 8.1% APY on invested cash, and the offer ends in just 2 weeks. Anyways, as far as Tesla's going, our prediction was correct that Tesla would push towards this $345 area, but keep in mind we are going to gap up when we open, and we'll see how well we hold above 345. If we don't hold this, we do have a gap to fill down here, as we have a new range being established because Tesla's getting bought back up in the $333 to $337 area. But we're also rejecting your 350, sort of going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. So watch that very, very closely. Now, there was some news that came out. Gary Black did put this on his Twitter page about how Tesla sold a solid 11.1K insurance registrations, at least for the week of May 12th through the 18th. After 7 weeks of the quarter, they are down about 5.6% quarter over quarter and 24.2% year over year. But despite that, that's a very, very big improvement because when you look at this, right, Tesla sales were declining in the month of April, even parts of May in China, which is very, very common, at least after we get a quarter, right? After the first quarter, we did see a bit of a slowdown. But as time is going on, okay, we're seeing a big increase right here during week 7, which is a good piece of news. We're up over 8K for that one specific week compared to the previous week. In week 6, we did 3.1K, and then in week 7, we did 11.1K, which is a nice improvement so far. And I hope this trend continues as Tesla tries to provide more incentives for more sales. Looking at the numbers, we're still looking a little bit lower than what we saw in the previous quarters, but I hope we start to play a game of catch up as time goes on because, especially when we get closer to like the summertime, we do tend to see sales increase. So that's what we're looking for, at least so far, looking at this data. Hopefully, this trend continues. Now, on top of this, there's been more news about how Tesla's team are also working on not only Elon Musk's executive compensation plan, but also for the company's finance chief. That's some good news as well, at least for him. The pay package is about $139 million, at least from last year. That's a very, very, excuse me, that's a very, very big pay package. And they are working on this, at least for their, the chief of finance. So good for him. I just wish the best for him moving forward. There's also been a lot of news about how Tesla's battery supplier, CATL, is also popping. It's popping since it got its first day of IPO on the Hong Kong exchanges. So good news for them as well. They're Tesla's main battery supplier. Besides that, this news does affect Tesla to some extent. In China, they are cutting their rates again. The lending rates are going down as well to record lows to counter the impact of the US tariffs. So for Tesla, for example, this does benefit them when it comes to their sales. And you guys can see how the effect of these lending rates going down is what is also helping to improve their sales. That's why we're starting to see a big increase in them. So I think that that could be one of the factors why the Chinese sales are doing better. And then when it comes to more news, President Trump did mention that he wants to see the U.S. Get a lot more production. He doesn't want to see more jobs going to China and India. He did make a comment about Tim Cook, I would say last week, but now it's making headlines today. So I just want to call that out. Besides that, the market is still holding up nicely. The Home Depot said did not want to raise its prices due to the tariffs after the earnings were to be coming out. And then we also have Jamie Dimon, who is saying the market is too complacent on the tariffs and he doesn't believe that this is sustainable. So keep that in mind. Smart people could have different opinions about the way the market's going to move, but for now, you want to be very, very careful. Also, we have Barkin, Bostic, and Collins all giving their speeches, so we'll see what else they have to say. I didn't really see too much quite yet. So as far as Tesla goes, we have to watch and see if this 345 area holds. If we could hold above this, we have the potential to get back up to 350 to try to retest this or even break out. If we break 350, we're looking bullish and we're looking for an attempt for 360. But if we lose 337, this is going to be our 20 EMA. We're going to be at risk of returning to 333 to 330. So you want to be watching these levels just to be safe. So watch your levels. We'll have to see how things end up going as you're making higher lows. So far, I do think Tesla's going to see some consolidation here, but there could be an attempt to go higher if we could hold above 345. And yes, I see 350, If 345 doesn't hold, though, we're looking for that gap to get filled. We might be dipping a couple of points to the lower 340s if we don't hold 345. So watch 345 to see if Tesla holds this. If it does, we're going to be looking for an attempt for 350. I would like to see us hold 345 to continue to go higher to fill this imbalance over here. If we can't, be prepared just to be safe. As far as spies going, we're actually kind of flat right now during the pre-market session. However, we're still looking bullish because we do have this gap to fill up here. So we could be looking to see this gap fill around the 595 area. If we break that, we're looking for a continuation to go higher. If we're bearish, though, you want to see us basically lose 592.5. If that doesn't hold, we could be returning to 590. I'll be watching these levels very closely, but nonetheless, this gap could still fill, and we'll see if SPY can continue to make higher highs and higher lows. For now, we still have a bullish trend as we continue to make higher highs and higher lows. So we'll just see how well we could hold up first before we see anything else. There is a slight bearish divergence, so I do want to warn you to be careful. But for now, there's no sign of SPY losing 592 to 590 to turn more bearish. We're on a very, very big uptrend, and even if we do dip a bit, we could still bounce and continue to push to fill this gap and retest these highs. Unless we see a change in market structure, we remain more bullish. On the QQQ, if we lose 515, we're going to be looking for a move down. And if we're above 517, we're actually favoring upside to push into like the 520s near 525. My guts tells me that we might be looking for a rebound to fill that gap in an attempt to push for the 520s. So watch that very closely. On the IWM, we're also trading sideways here. We actually have this 20 EMA over here. So there's not really much going on with this. I just anticipate sideways price action between 210 and 205. If we lose 205, though, we could be dipping to fill this gap. If we break 210, we're looking for upside. Otherwise, we're just trading sideways for now. ES is looking bullish. We're looking for that 6,000 target. I do think we might be testing that. And we'll see if we break 6,000 to go higher or if we reject off of it. Since we do have a bearish divergence, we'll see how it ends up going, but look for a little bit more upside on ES. On NQ, I think we could be testing 21,600. I think this might go a little bit higher as we're trying to make a higher low here. As long as we don't lose 21,250, we're actually favoring an attempt to get back up to 21,600. We'll see if we break out higher if we get a rejection here, so watch that very closely as there's upside potential, at least nonetheless. On Bitcoin, we're trading sideways. We need to see if we could break 106,000 to go higher, or if we lose 101,000. I see us trading sideways. I could be looking for a test of 103,000 just to see how things end up going. Once again, for Tesla, we need to hold 345. As long as that holds, I do anticipate we go higher to fill this imbalance. But we need confirmation. We got to hold 345. If we don't, it will cool off. I'm hoping we hold it to try to go higher. So watch that very closely. Nvidia is forming a very, very nice flag here. So we might continue to do this. We'll see how well we can hold above 135. If not, we could be dipping to 132.5 before potentially breaking out. But if we don't hold 130, we're looking for a dip back down to 125. So I'll be watching these levels very closely. So be very, very careful. On Aapl, we're making lower highs. We need to get back above 210 to continue. If not, we're looking for a move back down to about 204. For others out there, we also have AMD. It's making lower highs here. We'll see how well we hold 114. If not, we could be dipping lower. So be careful as we test the 114 area. We need to hold that or else we will be dipping to 110. So that's going to be very key for how we end up continuing to move. Coinbase is bullish as long as we're above 265. We're favoring 272 plus. If we lose 260, which is where the 20 EMA is going to be, we're going to turn bearish. I anticipate we could be testing 265. And as long as that holds, we're looking bullish. We're making lower highs on Amazon, so we have to see if we could break 210 plus to maintain this bullish stance. If not, we could be turning back down towards the low 200s, so we'll see if buyers defend. On Meta, we're looking decent as we're making lower highs. We need to get back above 650 to continue. If not, if we kind of push like this, if we can't hold above 650, we could be looking for a move back down like that, so be very careful with Meta. On Google, we're looking bullish. As long as we're above 170, we're favoring the upwards direction. If we lose this 165 area, we could turn back down. So I'll be watching this very closely as time goes on. And then for Microsoft, we remain bullish because we're continuing to make higher lows off this 20 EMA. We have to lose 452 to turn bearish. As long as we're above that, we're actually favoring upside for like the 462 plus area. With that being said, guys, the VIX is looking kind of weak here. I still think we might be coming down to fill this gap as the market tries to go a bit higher. And that could be more positive for Tesla as we try to push closer to 350. Let's hope we hold above 345. And overall, Tesla's doing a fantastic job. Thank you for listening and peace out.